All right, welcome back. This is M-Dog, and we are in episode 1, technically, of our new leveling series. And I've got some of the basics sent over to this account. I did want to touch briefly on, like, let's say you really are new to RF4 or, really low level. What I would encourage you to do, if you as well, like from watching what I'm going to be doing, think you want to do a lot of feeder fishing, especially early on. One thing that you can do is save up for 2 or 3 of these feeder start kits. They're 149 silver. They've been nerfed a little bit because the Lacerti 2 is not as strong as the Lacerti 1, although we'll see in this series how it feels to really use these Lacerti 2s. They may be, still have a little bit of power in them, I'm hoping, because that's what we will be using once we hit level 3. But this is one option. If you don't want to do that and you want to kind of piece it together, you do save a little bit of silver by purchasing the kit with everything that it comes with. And certainly the Kama Comfort feeder is a really good rod for a starter. I mean, the max kilo is 6 kilos, so you can use that pretty comfortably in the early levels. And really, I'm not sure that there's better options for reels other than the Lacerti 2. You're just getting into like so pricey to get back up to the 5.5 kilo. Unless someone tells me like this Sputnik Element is just such a good little reel. I've used them before, actually. Now the Element Pro I do like, the 4000, but you're talking about 379 silver, so that's not something you're going to be doing early. So I really think those starter kits are worth considering still, but you need to make some silver to even afford those starter kits. So what I would suggest, and what we're going to be doing here today, is if you go to feeder rods, from level 1, you can start putting together feeder rods. These Sorrentos, they range from 37 to 41 silver. Really personal preference in terms of like how long you want the rod to be. Extra length will help you control the fish slightly better, maybe give you a little longer casting distance. So, again, kind of up to you. But these are very affordable. And so even from level 1 with the silver you have before you fished at all, you can just about put a full feeder set together. And I do recommend that. You're going to simply put these little 8 silver, 9 silver sparks with them. And then you'll put the rest of your kit together. You can find everything in the menu of the tackle shop. And once you have whatever gear you're going to be using from the beginning, you can hold down U and assign them to different slots, which is what we're going to do now. And so I'm going to start putting these things together and make sure they're all set up the way we want them to be. I was in the process of doing this earlier, but have not fished yet. So although I will be fishing off stream, I'm not recording all of the fishing I do on this account. I'm anticipating. But for the beginning, I wanted to at least get the beginning. So you can throw on the bells for your bite alarm, bite indicator. And instead of using a sinker, we're actually using a cage that we can put ground bait in. So right from the very beginning, we're using ground bait. And 10 or 6. Let's do one of each. We'll do size 6 on this hook. On this rod. And then we'll do size 10 on the other one. Let's go ahead and get this one set up as much as we can. Alright, so that one's got a 10. Alright, so we're good. And then for float, we do want to use a little bit higher quality hook if possible. We'll try a 14. That might be a little big. What are we going to be catching? I think 14's fine. And we'll probably just use like bread for now on the float. Again, the only reason why we're doing float in the beginning at Mosquito for right now at least is because I don't want to purchase. You could get a third Sorrento, right? But by the time you're level 3, you can start using the kits, which I already have the kits. And even if you use 2 feeders, you can pretty quickly get enough silver to at least buy your first kit. And then maybe you don't need 2 Sorrento starter feeders. So I'm looking at my list here. I haven't fished at Mosquito in a while. I know that 3549 has still been pretty active. Just want to see if any other spots are interesting that we might want to try. We're not really interested in targeting perch or eyed. We don't have the gear for eyed. Rough is always interesting, and it looks like camp is still the place for that, using even worms with as small hooks as we have. So at nighttime we could do rough, But let's go back around to 35.49, and let's try going for Crucian Gibbles. I think it's a pretty reasonable thing to do here pretty early. Yeah, it's going to be a struggle when we hook it into some big Crucian or Gibbles. I don't know. We may not want to catch too big of a Crucian or Gibble. So I mentioned ground bait. From the very beginning, we're going to be making ground bait, right? So we want crackers. This is for Crucian Gibble. We want crackers, millet porridge, and then we want sunflower oil for the attractant. And once we get out there, I'll show you how to do that. We also want to be making baits constantly. In fact, it's almost tempting, because, we'll need to make some bread. We'll need to use the bread for bait probably, but it's actually almost tempting for the first thing, since we already have a little bit of gear. The first thing we purchase might be a shovel, actually. It's only 38 silver. What level do we have to be? Level 3. So we can use that at level 3. The other thing we'll want to get early on is a landing net, which we can use that from level 1. And with some of these big guys, it might be helpful to not try to lift them out of the water. So we're going to go ahead and get that now. So we've got our net. We're going to get a shovel soon. And the other thing we're going to start doing very soon is cooking. We're going to start making whatever we can cooking-wise. Hopefully we'll be able to make, I think we can make tea pretty much from the beginning. Yeah, we'll make tea like crazy. We won't do tea, coffee or cocoa yet, but tea like crazy. And if we go to winding, we can do some eggs and potatoes. So a lot of our early silver will go towards baits, cooking, and ground bait. And that's just what we're gonna do. And let's say hello to everyone in our chat. And let's get fishing. So at 35.49, I think typically I use an 8 or a 9 clip. I think we'll go with a 9 clip this time. And let's hope that this spot's pretty active. If it's not, we can slide over to like 38.56 has been good, especially during the day, I've noticed. I was doing this with I was helping a buddy of mine who's actually really low level, and he was leveling up a little bit. All right, so we're gonna make Crucian Gibble ground bait. We don't actually want to make a lot yet because we haven't put points in. Once we put points in, the quality will go up significantly. Like this was quality 5 out of 10. That's actually not bad considering we have no points. So we're just gonna use them as we need them. Later on, we will trying to decide what I want. I think I want to go semolina on this one. And let's go clip 9. You really want to be like out here, maybe towards the edge, but I think we want to go. I almost wasn't far enough. With no skill points, you have to cast so hard. I forget that. And then on this guy, let's put our feed mix on, and we're gonna go with egg dough. So we've got egg dough and semolina. Now here's the truth of the matter. If you don't have a high level account supporting yourself in this, then you're going to have to use bread and worms, maybe maggots, things you can buy from the store until you level up your harvesting your baits. So thankfully that's not something we have to necessarily worry about. And for us, I don't have a map yet, so we need to get a map next time we're in town. I do want to have a map, and we'll just leave this here short. We kind of want to get smaller stuff on our float if we catch anything on it at all. It's just kind of something we're not going to worry about, but if we catch something, that's fine. So one way you can harvest your baits by making bread. So we'll want to do this probably until it, I don't know. I mean, it's debatable, right? Because you make enough bread what you need, and then past that, shoveling is free, other than the fact that you're making tea to give yourself energy back. But so probably what we'll do is keep buying a little bit of bread, make some bread, but we're going to try to get that shovel just as soon as we can. So we'll see how it goes. So we want to be making bread. Once we get skill points, which we have no skill points, one of the first things we're going to put skill points into is ground bait. I know that seems a little weird because like you'd think you'd want control of the fish with bottom feeder fishing and all that. Maybe you do, but I just want to get that green light, at least 3 points in harvest in making ground bait, so I can start making lots of ground bait without feeling like I'm making a bunch of crap. You know what I mean? So that's just the way I do it. I don't know. So if we can't get the bite rate to pick up a little bit, like this is a little slow right now on Crucian Gibbles, but if we can't get it to pick up a little bit, we'll switch to smaller hooks or we'll rotate to that other spot. Shouldn't be too slow a bite rate. Like I said, I know that other spot during the day, which is 38.56. During the day, it's killer. At night, that spot slows down a little bit, and this spot picks up sometimes. So this is kind of the trophy spot. So sometimes this spot has a little slower bite rate, but when you do catch a fish, it's a really a nice one a lot of times. All right, so we're about to catch our first fish out in the wild here. If we can land it, and remember, and we can adjust this, but right now we have the bigger hook, size 6, which is a little on the big size. Like we probably should just go to 10. I don't really know what I was thinking on that. If it was night crawlers, that would be one thing. And then a size 10 over here. I think I'm more comfortable with size 10. All right, let's go ahead and have this ready in case this actually turns into a legit bite here. If you want to level float fishing, I think I have more fun float fishing at winding. The fish that bite there aren't as nibbly as these are. So if you want to make a little bit of silver but also level up your float fishing early, I would actually go to Winding Rivulet, which is the other low level map. And we can do that, and we can search around, see if there's any good, like active spots where we could just kind of, because it's kind of nice. You can put a couple feeders in, right, catch some fish, and then also be float fishing with one rod. With the current, I kind of like just having one float fishing rod out. So both rods are now getting bites, but neither one of them have been very quick to turn into an actual bite. All right, that fish is on. So here's our first fish on this account. And it looks like it will be a marker, just barely. All right. And you see how heavy, quote unquote, heavy, that fish felt on the line. These starter feeders, you really have to be careful, especially in a spot like this where big Crucian Gibbles can come out. But we've got 2.1 line on here. And that's just what I had. I mean, you could go up to 3. We really should go up to 3, be a little more comfortable. What's this one have on? 2.3. I mean, it's just, we're kind of cruising for a bruising, so we may have to get line pretty quickly. This may not even be a marker. I'd say it's probably not. So we are slowly going to start leveling up our bottom fishing. All right, we're going to go to a 10 with semolina. End up blowing up one of our lines here. I'm going to rip a line if we're not careful. And you see float right now is just so slow. Oh, wow. We actually caught a fish. Look at that. So we hit a new level, hit level 2. It's not even a marker Crucian. We do have premium right now. I mentioned that only because I was testing to see how premium worked. We just have 3 days of premium. And then I probably won't do premium again until, I don't know, level 10? Maybe 12, 15, something like that. Alright, let's get it a little more out that way. Hoping we'll hook into some markers here soon. We've only had one marker so far, guys. This isn't a good way to make money. Woo! Look at this. Very nice. Oh, never mind. I don't have multiple. Perfect. So that was a nice one. Another marker. Let's see what the bite rate and the size of these fish do once it gets a little later in the evening. So we can't use this yet because of our level. We can use this braided line, although I think that would really cut down into our bite rate, so we'll see. Alright, you see the line's actually moving. You have to be careful. Just because the bells are ringing doesn't mean the fish is on. Like, they can just be nibbling at it the way that the bottom fishing works now. There's a Chinese sleeper. And the main thing we're doing here is, I mean, yes, we would love to catch marker fish, and we hope that that will increase, but the other thing is just at this level, every fish we catch is going to give us points in bottom fishing. And so we're slowly going to be leveling that up so that we can start to use other things. So right now we can do simple bottom rod rig, but you know, at 25% we can use paternoster, which isn't as big a deal, but we can then do boilies once we get to 35%, and then 50% we can do inline, and then 70 is loop. I mean, there's some big ones. Carp rod is at 60%, so there's some big ones ahead of us, but of course we're a ways away from that now. That's interesting. You see how gently we just like pulled at that? And yet the fish still seems to be messing with it, maybe? I don't know. Thinking since we put worms on there, maybe we'd get like a little, Chinese sleeper or something on float, but we haven't yet. I never knew you could like gently pull on it like that and it wouldn't mess the bite up. It's still messing with it. This is where we're going to want to start making tea when it starts raining a lot. Alright, that's what we're expecting in this spot. Some nice markers that that really challenge our poor little gear. Oh, what is that? Is that a gibble? Yeah, I think it is a gibble. At first, it looked kind of weird. Very nice. So as you can see, at low level, if you get into a spot like this where you can catch some quality fish, you just start getting experience really fast. In fact, the problem with low level is not getting experience to level up. It's saving silver. That'll mess up the bite. Alright, we hit level 3. We can stop with this nonsense. All right, let's go ahead and load up one of our comma comforts here, and we can break out one of our Lacertes. I guess I don't have, oh, this is the line that came with it. Let's go ahead and get this set up. 4.3 fluorocarbon liter, and seems like 10 probably is working best here. We'll go with egg dough, and we'll go 9 clip. I'm really questioning. We'll stay here a little bit longer, but I'm questioning if maybe we want to go try that. We want to go try that spot at camp. See if we can't get some rough. So we'll see. So as we catch the fish here, dang, we can go ahead and disassemble these rods and put them away. Again, since we are level 3 now, we can start using our, and these are basically those starter kits. And I think this was our semolina line. This is the only one we've got semolina on. Okay. So yeah, I'm really thinking about rough. It depends on what's in the cafe. I mean, that really at a low level can determine what's your best bet in terms of focus, because, you know, we're sitting here catching these non-markers, some of them, but if there's a cafe order right now for rough, let's say, then it'd be nice to focus our attention on rough, because then we're getting silver even for the non-markers according to what the cafe order is calling for. I'm glad this one's getting a bite because we didn't set it up properly. That should be on. There we go. And then again, it's tempting to stay here when we're getting much nicer ones now. I want to change, oh, this is at 14 grams. I want to change that one to 14 grams, I guess. We'll see how the beginning of the night goes. But I do think we probably want to go to the other side. So let's do ground bait. We've got 3 points now. If I put 3 points in it now, I think I will. If we put 3 points in it now, that's all the points we'll put in probably till like several levels from now, because now we're going to quickly move to putting points in fishing with a feeder rod. Ooh, I like it. Yeah, at our level, to be able to catch quality of fish like this is just huge. It's just a really nice gibble. Really nice gibble. Alright, so we want to go ahead and disassemble that one now. Get our last comma comfort out. Make sure it's on 14 gram. 4.8 line. Bite indicator. Cage. Ground bait. Feeder leader. Size 10 hook. This one was egg dough. And here we go. All right. Very nice. All right, so this is the one that needs to change. The tip on it is the wrong color. We need to go to 14 gram quiver tip, and that's just so that smaller, more cautious fish, the bites will show up more accurately. Yeah, it's pouring rain. So this does seem to still be a good spot. That's a nice little crucian. That is a big boy crucian, actually. All right, so that's all of the points we're going to put in ground bait for a while, so we can go ahead and make, I think we can make 3 or 4 stacks now. Let's see what quality we're getting. Should be around 8 on average. That's a 10 out of 10. There's a 9 out of 10. It's pretty good. So did we have... Alright, so 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. So you can see the quality goes way up when you start getting points in there. Okay, so we now have 2 skill points we can put into fishing with a feeder rod. We'll want to max those out relatively soon. The question is, how many points do we put in that before we consider putting points into simple bottom rig? That's always sort of a tough call. It sounds like a good fish, doesn't it? Another kilo plus crucian here. Very nice. Yeah, I guess if it's like, you know, if we're catching a reasonable amount of fish that size, it is... Speaking of rough, wow, on egg dough, that's kind of weird, isn't it? That's kind of bizarre. Alright, do we ever put a point in simple bottom rig now? So if we do this at 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe we go 8, 9, 10 simple bottom rig. I think that makes sense. This gives us a little more control, a little more casting distance and accuracy. Whew. Alright, so Glock just sent us an old school Lacerda. You can't purchase these. Oh, this is actually an S. These have been replaced by new models now, so these are so much stronger with the 5.5 kilo. I love these old school ones. Surprised we caught a rough down here. Maybe we should put worms in on one line to see if that was a complete fluke or not. We'll throw worms on this middle line since we have egg dough on two lines. All right, so let's switch this to regular worms. Put it basically in the same area. See if it gets any activity at all. Well, that was awkward. Try to go through this full stack of ground bait. We'll get to a point most likely where we need to level up ground bait, and we'll just make batches of ground bait with just the base, or maybe just the base and attractant, and then throw it away. We'll need to make so much ground bait that it's not worth keeping all of it, but for now let's just start using stacks up. Because again, some of the strategy here early, especially according to what the cafe order is we do kind of want to be on spots that are really active. Because early on we're going to get skill points almost every fish we catch. So it's just like grinding it out, not only on silver, but also on building our skills up. I hope by the time we get there, and when we can afford the gear, I hope that the carp are still biting at Old Berg. It's been really nice lately with I need to put that Lacerti on one of these lines. We actually can increase the line strength a little bit too if we go by the store. Grass carp and even sometimes black carp or commons have been really good lately at Old Berg, so I hope that continues. That'll really help us when we get to Old Berg to catch some of those, as well as hopefully some bream and or tench also. I'm a little nervous here about this popping off. Okay, maybe we've got it. We've got very low quality hooks on. That's a little trophy right there. That is a little trophy. But the difference in strength in these new Lacertis and the old ones, especially the 4000S, which is actually like a premium version of Lacerti, I think those are, I mean, the old school ones probably it's a little more comfortable when you transition to trying to catch bream on them versus just like crucian gibbles and stuff like this. So it was kind of nice with the older models being maybe a little smoother transition to the next step in feeder fishing past, grinding away at mosquito. So now, granted, premium does change the amount of XP you're getting, and we do have premium on this account. So, like, you'll notice every fish. Next time we catch a fish, I'll show you. But you'll notice we're getting a bonus amount of XP for having premium. But you still can level like crazy fast in these low level if you have the right baits. Also, if you come and fish in the hot spots like this is, where just really large crucian and gibbles or whatever you're going for are coming out. I mean, you can see right now we have 24 fish in our net. One of them's a trophy. And we've hit level 8. I mean, like, it's kind of crazy. Ooh, that popped off. That's my fault. I went too soon there. Notice we have not had a single fish come in on the worms yet. I think that was a failed experiment. Not a single fish. Let's try another experiment. I don't know what the cutoff is. I don't remember, but let's see if 10 allows for night crawlers. It does. Okay. So we'll try night crawlers. Again, could occasionally catch rough if they're around, but also the crucian gibbles in this spot will sometimes really prefer, like the night crawlers as well, although I find them to be a little slower. If you're going for active bite rate, I think things like bread, pearl barley, semolina, egg dough, that those kind of baits tend to be a more active bite rate. It's possible that I should recast the third line, but I don't know. Even short, even if you should do like a 6 or 7 meter cast, you can normally, you will catch fish here, so it's just the ideal range is more like 8 to 9 meters out. Some people, and I have before, will like just cast on the left side of these weeds, but I think the highest percentage of players probably cast out here sort of in the middle. I used to also put one line over here. A lot of times like sleepers, Chinese sleepers and other fish I'd catch over here, and sometimes I'd put one line right in the middle of the weeds at 8 or 9 meters. It kind of settled just on this side of those weeds. So I used to spread them out more. But I have noticed that it feels like the best fishing is often sort of off this left edge. So that's more recently what I've done, I guess. I hope that, and the other thing about night crawlers too, that can be a little scary is I feel like sometimes the common carp, sometimes the common carp will go on semolina, egg dough, bread, I mean anything, but especially with night crawlers, I feel like in this spot, sometimes I see more common carp hit, which it's making me nervous how long this nibble's lasting. I do not want to chase a 4-kilo common carp around Mosquito Lake right now, but if we have to, we'll try to stay with it. So let's see. Probably line 1 has been the most active. Let's see if we've taken any damage so far on these Lacerti-2s. So far, very good. 0.1 mech damage, but very little. So that's good. I mean, obviously we haven't been using it very long, but you hope that it's fairly sturdy. All right, so we did catch a crucian on the night crawlers. That's very good. And we'll stay here a little longer. Can we make, let me see, what level can we start making common roach mix? Ground crackers, bloodworm, caramel. We might be able to do it from the start. One thing that I think is underrated at low levels is a good Roach Farm, which I don't know. I haven't done that in a long time here. So I don't know how good of a farm we could find at the moment, but roaches can, if you're catching decent size roaches and if it's a good bite rate, they can be sneaky good, and it gives you something to do during the day if you don't want to just sit there and farm like undersized crucians and gibbles, which that tends to be what you're going to catch once it gets to this point. So once we finish this episode, just so you know, I'm going to be, like when I'm doing other stuff, even work-related stuff or whatever, I'll probably have this account just kind of sitting to the side, fishing in this or spots similar to this. So next time I record, I might be a level or two higher. I don't know. It just depends on how much time I get. This weekend I'm going to be away, so we'll have a little bit of a break on. I won't be able to stream or probably make videos this weekend. I will be streaming tomorrow night, which is Thursday night, so I hope to see you all tomorrow night if you're around. And yeah. So I think that fish is on, but I'm going to give it a second and see if it'll actually move the line. It is possible that that's still... I really think it's on though. Let's test it. I think it's just basically not strong enough to pull it away. Yeah, that's what's happening. All right, so we've seen a consistent decrease in size of fish here, even though I think it probably will pick back up. A lot of times 6, 7, 8 a.m., even like as far as 9 a.m. is really good in this spot. But let's go check out the cafe, and maybe we'll just do a quick test, make some roach ground bait, do a quick test to see if the old spot that's right over here is producing roach at the moment, and if they're decent size. We'll use the same size hook, around 10. You kind of want to be 10, 12, something like right there. But right in here, and actually we can go ahead and throw our lines in just to get an early read. Let's put, we're not going to, well, yeah, we'll put Crucian Gribble ground bait. I'd rather have that than just an empty cage. And we'll kind of do the same deal here. That went so much farther than I was anticipating. Do we not have a clip on that? We don't. How long have I been fishing without a clip? Because when we switched our rods to the other rods, I didn't think about... I don't know if I put a clip. I probably put a clip on the third one because I went from float. Yeah, I did. So there is a clip on this one. And this one we're just going to use straight bread. So we've got worms times 2 and bread times 1. We're over here at 45.63. Sometimes this spot is awesome, but we're just going to leave the lines in the water. I'm not too fearful of getting busted in that spot, so we're going to walk away from our bells and check some things out over here. We want to be able to make common roach ground bait if we can, level wise, and we also want to check the cafe before anything expires. So always start heaviest. Like here's a nice roach order, rough. Like I was talking about, 25 silver for 5 undersized rough. See, like if I would have known this was there, I would have been really tempted to fish for rough, and we would have missed that trophy. So it's probably good we didn't. This is only 2.96 silver, so you always want to be careful. This is calling for non-marker gibbles. So we actually will make more than 2.96 silver selling those 2 gibbles. I'm almost certain. Let's double check. So we want to go to gibbles. Sort by weight. Here's our 2 smallest. 2.04. What was it? 2.04 versus 2.9. So actually the cafe order is better. How much time is left on it though? Plenty of time. Let's just wait and see. We're not quite done yet. So let's see. We might catch a couple of undersized ones and would be better off waiting. Okay, let me double check the, we need a map. That drives me crazy not having a map to somewhere. Ground crackers, bloodworm, caramel. All right, ground crackers and bloodworm is here. Yep, we can use bloodworm. And then the attractant is caramel, not vanilla, caramel, and we can use caramel. All right, perfect. How much silver do we have? 12 silver, because we haven't sold anything. Let's just get a map and let's go back out and test. Oh, no, the other thing we need to purchase. So this is 3 silver for the map. We should be able to afford peas, though. What I wanted to test was peas, because we can't make pearl barley yet. So let's just get 1 thing of peas. This will be a good test to at least have peas on 1 line. If the roach are strong, they often will come pretty good sized roach on peas. So I want to test that. Let's see what we're catching over here on just the bread and worms, though. That'll give us a good idea about the variety of fish that are here. So it looks like this line has a fish on because the fish has pulled it way over there. It's a decent size. So what did we catch on worms? It's like a little gibble. Or is that a roach? That's a good sign if it's a roach. Okay. So let's do this. Ground bait. Common roach mix. Do we have enough to make 2? I can't remember how much we got. Yep, let's make 2 stacks of roach mix. And let's go ahead and put that on. Roach mix. Let's put on peas on this line. And let's do a clip of 10. This one's the farthest away anyway, so we'll clip that one at 10. And now let's see what's on this. This is worms as well. All right, crucian. So crucian and gibbles are probably in this spot also. So let's go to roach mix. We'll keep worm on this one. So we want to test peas against something, and we don't have pearl barley yet. So is that a roach? No, it's a gibble. See, there's an undersized gibble. Do we want to keep bread in? That is the question. So we've got worm, peas. We probably want something. We either want more peas or something doughy. So bread. Let's just try egg dough here, but we're going to try it with roach mix. Just see if we catch anything on that. Because I don't know how active the gibble crucians are compared to the roach right now. It looks like that may have a fish on. Not yet. I really want to get our tea going and then our shovel. I think that's first priority. Tea and then shovel. Okay, so worm, second fish is another roach. And it may just be that the bait preferences, flavors, whatever have changed a little bit. When peas are active for roaches, they're usually great. So I don't know. So there goes egg dough. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's going to catch more crucian gibbles, probably. Let's give it one more try, though. I really, once it gets to be later in the morning, I don't love using the meaty lure baits as much during the day. I feel like in general, the meaty baits are better at night, and doughy stuff is better during the day. That's not always the case, but it sometimes feels that way. So we'll see. All right. There we go. A morning Chinese sleeper. Too bad that wasn't another non-marker gibble. But it will be for sure better to use whatever our smallest 2 gibbles are on that order. So we did get another point. So I will go ahead and put point in simple bottom rig. So the feeder rod gives us better control of the fish. Simple bottom rig, when we're using this rig, gives us better quality of fish. Hopefully higher chance at trophies. Speaking of trophies, it just all depends on if it's a common carp or, I mean, it could be like a chub, tench, that kind of thing, but if it's not one of those, it's just about has to be a trophy. We should get a look at it here. It's still fighting a little bit. I think that's a Gibble trophy, y'all. And we do have our net now, which will make this a little less painful dragging him up. Woo! So premium, as you can see, is like doubling the XP, right? 825 plus 825 bonus. That is a nice Gibble, and we have now, even at an early stage here, so there's level 9. It actually looks like the Crucian and Gibbles are just stronger here even than the Roach. We still don't have a fish here on peas, do we? Alright, so we'll do one more point in simple bottom rig. I might go back next point to feeder rod again, and then maybe 11 hit the last one, and I don't know, we'll see. So, now even at this low level, we're starting to fill out our mosquito trophy card. Perch and Ide tend to be the slowest, unless you just get unlucky with frog, but usually you can find sleeper, roach, and rough eventually. Level 9, not bad for our first session. Alright, let's get... Oh, is that on peas? Looks like peas might have a nibble. Maybe not. I can't tell. Yeah, look at that line on the peas line. It just looks like a fish is pushing it around a little bit. Unless that's just like a natural slide that happened. But it was tight. Now it's got more slack building up. Look, you can see the line moving. Usually what happens next is the fish gets hooked and then pulls it, unless it just actually swims towards shore. But I'm wondering if that was just a natural slide. I'm not seeing... Oh, yep, there it goes. It's still getting a little pull there, so hopefully we will catch something on peas. I just want to see what it is. Definitely doesn't seem like... Again, we don't have pearl barley, so I don't feel like we can say anything definitively about roach presence. But it does not appear as though we're catching a ton of roach here. We need to wrap this one up. I think we'll get a couple more bites here, though. I mean, I think we are getting a bite maybe on both lines. It just depends on how long it takes to complete the bite. Let's see if we go. What's the smallest we have? We can't use that yet, Kim. Oh, we can. Alright, so let's just put this right here at the the lowest depth possible. With maggots, it's possible that we might see a bleak or something. I'm kind of just curious. Of course, if we got flies, this is one way you would catch a frog, is like really shallow near the lily pads. Alright, first fish on the peas. And it is a roach. It just took a long day to get there. A long time to get there, right? Like it was not a very active bite rate. Alright, what is this? Can we see it? That looks like a roach. I was hoping it might be a little bleak, but looks like a roach. Yeah. Alright. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've been going for a long time. All right, I don't think we quite got there. We did get this though. All right, so our first cafe order done. Let's see how we did. I bet we did okay with those trophies. That'll add up. Yeah, 69 silver. So good quality of fish. The bite rate was maybe a little slow, but we will take that. All right, so episode 1 done. Level 9. Get us a little free food. Oh, I guess we've already done it. We're off to a good start. As always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you again very soon. I might be able to get one more episode in before the weekend. We'll see, but thanks for watching.